What is up, guys? Welcome to Loveshack Entertainment, and today we're bringing you a deck profile video. So I'm going to tell you just about, as a warning before this video, I'll be trying a little bit of a different camera angle setup here. I think it looks a little bit better, and also kind of focuses on the deck a little bit more without any kind of background distractions and stuff. So hopefully you guys do enjoy that format. So deck profile I'm bringing you today is actually going to be a Naturia deck profile. I'm really excited about it because I've been working on this for a while, and I finally played it in a competitive event, and I did okay, and not as well as I would have liked, but the cool part is I definitely know where I went wrong and what I did that I probably should have done differently. So I'm going to be I made some changes to the deck a little bit, and I'm probably going to do more with it, and if that time does come, then I'll update the deck a little bit more. But I was really inspired to try to rebuild this deck and make it work, as best I could in the current format. And realistically, it does have some really good matchups. So let's look at the deck. I was talking a bit too much. Triple Naturia Bamboo Shoot. So I would assume some people are familiar with it, but for those who aren't, when it's tribute summoned by tributing a Naturia monster, your opponent cannot activate spell or trap cards. So pretty much as simple. One tribute, and it locks down. So if you can put this on the board turn 1 against Monarchs, they're very, very strained to make a play. Obviously, there's the Edia into Eidos and then tribute combo, but if they don't have that, or if they don't open with Edia, or if you do have Valor or something that can get around it, it's an extremely strong power play against that deck. Draco Pals as well, because it shuts down pendulums and things of that nature. Obviously, against Mermails and Atlanteans, it has a little bit more of a difficult matchup, but that's also why we play Majesty Speeds and stuff like that, and basically you can swap out some of the engine to make it a little bit more effective with the side deck. So I'll explain that when we get to that point. So we're going to play 3 Trap Tricks Mermelio. This is an insect, obviously, so it's going to be relevant for reasons I'll explain in a bit. Everyone, for the most part, should know Mermelio. When it's normal summon, you can add a trap hole, trap card from deck to your hand. When it's special summon, you can destroy a spell or trap on the field. 2 Effect Veiler. The card's still really strong, and obviously it just is really good against most decks. I will occasionally side it out against like Mermails, but for the most part, it's just always good to have. 2 Naturia Cherries. Now, actually, I play this at 3, but I didn't have 3 at the time I played in the event, so I just went with 2. It's good, but like I would definitely want to have 3 just because you can use its effect to the fullest. Being a tuner, level 1 plant, so it's a 1-for-1 target, obviously an Earth, also a Naturia. Basically the best Naturia card, and also, unfortunately, one of the hardest ones to come by. And 2 Naturia Fruit Fly. So I love this card. This card is not an inherently good card, so put that out there. The fact of the matter is it's a level 3 insect, which means it works really well with other stuff in the deck. And also it works for overlay, exceeds plays and stuff, synchro plays. When it's on the field, all your opponent's monsters lose 300 attack and defense for every Naturia monster you control. So this makes combos with Soul Charge and stuff extremely potent, especially because you can like drop attacks by like 900, or if you have 2, they lose 1800. I'm pretty easy to swarm the board with them. And it actually is easy to stall out sometimes, too, just to be able to build up so you can put Bamboo Shoot on board. It's a really, really cool card. And while I'm not saying it's the best card by any means, I really do like it a lot. It's probably the best. I mean, Naturia doesn't have a lot of great cards, so you got to pick what you got to work with. And I think Fruit Fly is going to be the best option for this version of the build. So I absolutely love it. Of course, it does have a second effect that I didn't mention. You can target one monster your opponent controls with 0 defense and take control of it till the end phase. It's pretty easy to pull that off against some things, especially Monarchs and stuff. If you're able to get these on board and then they go to 0 and it's like, okay, cool, you can just kind of swarm and spam and do things like that. So really cool card. And I'm genuinely surprised because I did not think I was going to like it. 1 Majesty Speed in the main deck. This card is extremely important in games 2 and 3, and for the most part, I almost always side more in. The fact is, though, it does hurt me a little, and so I got to be careful how I play with it. Majesty Speed is just too good against the majority of the decks in the game, and I do expect it to get hit to 1 probably in the upcoming formats. 1 Glow Up Bulb and 1 Spore, because they're plants. This is a plant-based deck for the most part, and they obviously just work well to enable combos, not to mention 1-for-1. So here's another one. It's a 1 of Naturia Marin, for those of you unfamiliar with it. When it's normal summon, you can send a Naturia monster from your deck to the graveyard. And then once per turn, you can target 2 Naturia monsters in your graveyard, shuffle them back in your deck, and draw 1 card. It's a really good card because it lets you kind of cycle through your cherries and things like that. It's a level 3, so it works for Exceeds and things, and also it's a Naturia monster, obviously. So it does all sorts of things. One of my favorite plays with this card is normal summoning it, and then you get a Naturia Engrave, which you can then use next turn, so even if it's off the field, to play Instant Fusion, summon Norden, and then bring a Naturia back. And since you haven't normal summoned yet, you can tribute that monster, regardless of its effect, for Bamboo Shoot. So that's a really strong play, and I like Marin a lot at 1. And then the one I don't inherently love is the 1 Naturia Cliff. I mean, so in the old days, the Bamboo Shoot turbo decks, whatever, obviously played this at 3, and you would creature swap and stuff. The problem is this misses timing pretty much almost all the time, unless it's like Dark Hole, Regeki, or Short by Battle. You can't like synchro with it and get its effect off, which is a huge detriment to what the card does. but it's still a level 4 Naturia that you can synchro for Naturia Beast and stuff, and it's just a decent one-of because if you do have to set it, or even if you want to run into stuff, it's just a good power card. One Dandelion, almost any plant deck that you're playing, you're going to use this. It's amazing, obviously, and some other combos that it has really well with the deck. One Lone Fire Blossom. So for those of you curious as to why I'm only playing one, I can explain it a little bit more in a minute. It's not Earth, which does hurt the synergy with the deck with some of the other Naturia cards. I never really need more than one because so much of the cards that I play, I want to be able to mill or get engraved through other means. Lone Fire is just a really strong one-of, and I did play it at more than one, and I ended up cutting it down because I felt that I just didn't need it later in the game. Again, if you're playing a synchrocentric build or something that's playing bigger monsters, I could understand wanting to play it. I'm just not hugely fond of playing it at more than one. So moving on to spells, 2 instant fusions. This card is actually obviously really good in the deck because, like I said, this lets you put turn 1 Naturia Bamboo Shoot on the field often. You can go Foolish Burial, play this, bring back something with Nodin. You don't have to use your normal summon, or plenty of different cards, 1 for 1, whatever it is. It really just opens up a lot of plays, but also for your synchro plays and stuff, Nodin is just too good in the deck. But I generally, if you open with this turn 1 and anything that can dump a card in grave with Bamboo, you automatically have a really strong starting play against a lot of decks. Not to mention, it is tribute fodder for Majesty Speed and stuff too, if you had to go that route. 2 Chicken Game, because the deck is kind of slow, and you do play some weak monsters, so there will inevitably be moments where you kind of brick draw. But I don't want to play Upstart, because I want to be able to do damage as quickly as possible. Chicken Game's really good, and it does protect you from taking damage sometimes. I like it a lot. 1 for 1, because it's amazing. I would play 3 if I could. Why not, right? 1 Terraforming, just to turbo out the Chicken Games and kind of thin the deck a little bit. Rather than play 3 Chicken Game, I think 2 and 1 is fine. 1 MST. This card, honestly, I've kind of come into favor a little bit more. I like Twin Twisters, especially because of the discard outlets and stuff. But MST is definitely still not a bad card, and sometimes I don't want to discard or I don't have something I can discard. There's just a quick out to stuff like Vanities or Mask of Restrict that's going to hurt my plays. But I do have the 1 Twin Twister as well. Just 1 and 1 for the main deck. Magic Planter, because I play some continuous traps that benefit greatly off this. It's just a one-of, but the combos you can do with the Naturia Tree are absolutely amazing, and it basically nets you all sorts of pluses. And then 1 Foolish Burial, because why not? And 1 Soul Charge, another really strong card also that lets you get Bamboo Shoot out much faster. On to traps, triple Naturia Sacred Tree. So this is the card that kind of inspired me to try to build this deck, and I'm like, oh, that's actually really cool. In short, when this card is sent to the graveyard at all, from anywhere, you can add a Naturia monster from your deck to your hand. So that's the first one, and you can use that effect any number of times per turn. So if you summon a Dante and milled 3 of these, you could search 3 times. But what makes it even better is its other effect, which lets you tribute either 1 level 4 lower insect, one insect Earth-type monster or 1 plant Earth-type monster, and then you summon the opposite from your deck. So if you tribute an Earth plant, you can special summon a level 4 lower Earth insect from your graveyard. So you could tribute Dandelion and special summon Myrmelio from deck. I said graveyard, I meant deck. So tribute Dandy, special Myrmelio from deck, and you can do that during the opponent's turn, and you can then pop an opponent's spell or trap card. Or you can tribute an insect and special summon a level 4 lower plant from your deck. So you can tribute Myrmelio after you've searched off it and special summon Naturia Cherries from deck, and then you'll be able to tribute summon for Bamboo Shoot. The card itself is just an amazing engine, and I think it's really fun. It's a shame that they don't have more good Naturia cards, because you'd really be able to do a lot with this. But in and of itself, it's just an absolutely awesome card that if I hope to open it most of the time, but it's also a nice bait, because if they do hit it while it's face down, you still have options. 2 Call the Haunted. By rule of thumb, any deck that you're playing Myrmelio in, I would want to play Call the Haunted, but obviously, there's certainly situations where you're not going to. Again, this puts stuff on board. It also triggers Cliff. It triggers Dandelion, different things like that, so it's just good. Plus, it's a Magic Planter target, so that's another plus. 1 Bottomless Trap Hole, 1 Time Space Trap Hole, and 1 Void Trap Hole. Now, obviously, because I play the Myrmelios, I'd like to have targets for it. There have been some scenarios where I go turn 1, Bamboo Shoot, Rafflesia, and then obviously you have access to all these. I really don't love this card, but it's not bad, so it's definitely worth kind of toying around with. Time Space is obviously the best one, but Time Space isn't all that useful against Monarchs, for example. So you kind of pick and choose, but that seems to be the core 3, and they seem to work quite well. 1 Solemn Warning. I just don't have strikes. I can't really afford them, so I'm just kind of working without strikes. But yes, I would play them if I did. 1 Vanity's Emptiness. I love this card. Obviously, Magic Planter combos let you draw if you need to get it off the field. But it's still really good, even if you do special summon a lot. One Storming Mirror Force, in my opinion, the best one, but again, some people prefer Quaking. I'm not really sure why. And then one Blazing Mirror Force, which I was playing as a tech in the tournament today, but I elected, I didn't really use it much, probably going to take it out and just put the third cherries in place of it, but just for the sake of showing off the actual deck that I played, I kept it in. But again, it's a decent card, but it's just really not all that necessary. There's so many better options. But I guess that's the beauty of testing. And I'm already going a little longer than I wanted to here. So with the side deck, 2 MST, just because I really do like MST's flexibility in terms of not having to discard. So while I like being able to discard sometimes, I don't want to have to rely on it solely. So if I was playing more Twin Twisters, I'd find myself in a little bit more of a difficult situation with it. So 3 MST total, obviously. 2 Koiko, because I found this just because like an interesting tech against Monarchs, because it does stop them from being able to banish. There might be better options. I'm sure that there are. Imperial Iron Wall, but I also don't want to play Imperial Iron Wall because I don't want to necessarily lock myself out of the ability to use cards like Spore. But it might be worth looking into and toying around with. But I've had success with the card. Not to mention, it is a monster, obviously. The other Majesty Scene, like I said, this is 99% of the time I sided this in today against Burning Abyss and other things. To the point where I'm thinking of actually bumping it up to 3 in the side deck just because it's really useful. The one Treacherous Trap Hole, because I like this card against decks that spam a lot, like Mermails and stuff, but I play a lot of traps. Still, I have Rafflesia, so I can make this live relatively easily before I get a lot of traps in grave. One Dark Hole, only because I don't have Regekis, and so, like, I haven't bothered to get them, and I just play the one Dark Hole because why not? 2 Mistake and Arrest. I can't play Mistake because I search a lot, and especially with like Naturia Tree and stuff. This as a one-time lockdown search, it's okay, and it's really just good against Monarchs, I think. Also Cosmo, but whatever. Spell Shattering Arrow. This is absolutely 100% for Monarchs, and really just also Fairy Wind, because I take really difficult matchups against Monarchs for the most part. Like it was definitely a detriment today, and it's one of those things where like I just need to be able to side to stop them. So I side heavy for that deck, but again, if you can get Bamboo out, you're good. If they side and they put in stuff that's going to screw you and disrupt you from being able to get Bamboo, well, that's where you put yourself in a really tight spot. Artifact Lancia is a 2 of. Again, it's okay. It seems like a kind of like unnecessary with Koiku, but I think Koiku himself might be worth dropping as opposed to Lancia, because I do like Lancia's versatility as a card. And then for the extra deck, 1 Naturia Beast, because it's amazing. I go into this more than anything else. And there are some cool plays where you can like sack this for Bamboo, and then once you have Bamboo out, basically just to stop them from playing anything at all, you can just bring this back with like Call the Haunted or something. So it's useful, although I don't do that play often. 2 Norden, because why not? 1 Melier of the Trees. I love this card. I like it in here a lot because it lets me dump stuff, but also because it lets me get Naturias back from the graveyard. And I can overlay Dandelion and Fruit Fly to summon this, so it gives me a use for those Fruit Flies that I can't do anything with. Rafflesia, Shark, and Castell is my 4s. I don't go 4 much, but when I do, it's nice to have some outs there, some options. 1 Formula. I make this almost every game. It's just a decent draw power card that lets you further your synchro plays. Armades. I like Cataster too, but right now I just think Armades is the better card. Barkion, like I know it's kind of like a Naturia staple, but honestly I never really go into it. I just don't think traps are all that prevalent right now. I might drop this for something else, but I'm not sure. 1 Black Rose. Clearwing's good too. I actually really have won some games with Black Rose's effect to change monsters to attack mode and make them 0. It lets you put extra damage, and if they can't respond because Bamboo's on board, it just lets you get over stuff. Scarlight, I think the best rank 8 in the game. That's just my opinion, but I really do think this card is amazing. And I think that if you're not playing it and you can make rank 8s, you're just not making the right choices. Scrap Dragon, another good one. Pop your tree, then pop their card. You get a search off it. Leo, because it's still good, and it wouldn't really be Naturia without him. And Trish, because again, it's Trish. So yeah, so that's it for this video. I apologize, I had a little flustered with it. I actually had a lot of fun playing it today, and although I didn't, come in first or anything, I was able to do well with it, and I do plan on playing this deck at YCS Providence in May. So that's plenty of time to really get it all geared up and ready to go. But until then, I hope to keep working on it. Hopefully, we'll have an updated variant for you guys. Hope you did enjoy the video. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time right here at Loveshack Entertainment. Bye-bye.